All right, my friend, if you are visiting Grand Canyon National Park, then here are 12 things you definitely don't want to miss on your first visit. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I spend a ton of time at the Grand Canyon. I love it. It is so much fun. It has some really epic hiking trails, beautiful viewpoints, and it is so much more than just a hole in the ground, which some people say, but I just can't even comprehend how you could think that. So today I am here to talk to you about my favorite things to do at the Grand Canyon, so that you will have a just immersive experience in this beautiful place and really feel like you got to see it and you got to dig deep and you got to avoid the crowds and really just have a great time in this park. So jumping in, the Grand Canyon is a little bit unique because there are two different areas that we're going to talk about today. The national park itself is made up of both the North Rim and the South Rim. And the North Rim is a much quieter area of the park. There's not as much to do. It's a little bit further removed. So a lot of people don't go there. The South Rim is the main part of the park that you'll probably visit. If you're planning your trip and you're not really aware of the differences between the two and you've already started planning, chances are you are already planning to visit the South Rim. That's where most everybody goes. It's pretty close to Flagstaff and Williams, so you've got some amenities, some driving that you can do from there to make it really easy to get up to the South Rim. So we're going to talk about both. I want to give you 8 things to do at the South Rim and 4 to do at the North Rim. If you can visit both, I highly, highly recommend it. You'll get a different experience at each. But as a first-time visitor, if you only have time for one area of the park, I would focus in on the South Rim. So looking at a map of the Grand Canyon area, you'll see the Grand Canyon, the actual national park is this pink right down here. So we've got the North Rim here and the South Rim is Grand Canyon Village and Desert View down here. And if you want to go between the two, you have to drive all the way around, all the way over here and over. So it's about a 4-hour drive around. Again, that's going to determine where you plan your trip for, what you're going to be able to see, and which activities you'll want to add into your trip itinerary. Let's start with the South Rim because that's where the majority of you will be going. And so I want to talk about my favorite things to do at the South Rim. Again, I have spent a ton of time down here, and so this list is, I've done so many more things than what's included on this list, but these are really the ones that I wouldn't miss. This is what I've narrowed it down to based on my many, many trips to the park. So let's jump in. The first thing you can't miss on your first visit to the South Rim is Mather Point. And Mather Point is a beautiful viewpoint. It's just right there behind the visitor center. And so this viewpoint typically is where most people see the Grand Canyon for the first time. It stays really busy. It's really easy to access. But what I love about Mather Point is that you can just feel the excitement in the air from everybody coming and seeing the Grand Canyon and just being in awe of what they're seeing. And so I really like to add this one in. Again, it's likely the first place you'll see the Grand Canyon, and it's where everybody else is seeing the Grand Canyon for the first time. And so it just makes it a really special experience. So to get to Mather Point, you'll want to come here to the Grand Canyon Visitor Center. There's some parking lots right there. You can just park right there, and then you can just walk. There's a little path behind the Visitor Center that takes you out to Mather Point right here. You can also, if you don't want to walk, you can take a shuttle. The orange line does take you to Mather Point, so that's another way to get there. Number 2, the Bright Angel Trail. So the Bright Angel Trail is one of the main trails that you can take to get down into the canyon. So if you're wanting to hike down off of the rim, heading into the canyon itself, the Bright Angel Trail often is a very popular trail to choose. Now, what I recommend if you're wanting to hike the Bright Angel Trail and you're just wanting to do it for, say, an hour or two, you're not looking to go all the way to the bottom of the canyon, you're not looking to go down to Havasupai by Garden or anything like that, anything further down, then what I recommend with the Bright Angel Trail is just hiking down to the lower tunnel. So you'll pass through a couple of tunnels as you go. The lower tunnel isn't very far down the trail. If you go to that point, you'll hike about 1.5 mile round trip. It is a challenging trail. You're heading down, down, down into the canyon, and a lot of people get in trouble on this trail because hiking down is not the problem. You can go pretty far if you're hiking down. But the problem is when it comes time to turn around, you underestimate just how difficult it is to hike back out of the canyon. And so for that reason, and also because the views on the Bright Angel Trail don't change that much, you're just switching back down, 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 down. And so the views kind of stay the same. So for those reasons, I recommend just going to the lower tunnel and back up. You'll have a great experience on the Bright Angel Trail. You'll really get a taste for what it feels like to go below the rim, but you won't overexert yourself, especially during the hot summer months. To get to the Bright Angel Trail, so you have a few different options. There's parking lots all through here. Some of them are not very big. Some of them fill up really fast. And so in most cases, you'll just want to find parking kind of along this blue line here. So you'll take the shuttle out to here and you can get off at this stop right here that's right by the Bright Angel Lodge and the Bright Angel Trailhead. And you'll find the trail just right up the hill from that stop. So it's right along the rim. If you're not taking the shuttle, you can use the rim trail that just takes you past all these hotels and everything, and you'll run into that trailhead right here. Number 3, Grandview Point. So Grandview Point is another one of those viewpoints that is just absolutely gorgeous. The views change as you travel along the South Rim. And so every viewpoint is a little bit different. Some of them you can see the river. Some of them you see bigger cliffs. Some of them you can see more of the expansiveness of the canyon. And what I love about Grandview Point is you do get more of like the expanse of the Grand Canyon, just how big and deep it actually is. This viewpoint also has a really interesting history in the history of Grand Canyon National Park, mining and how people would get down into the canyon from there. There is a trail that goes down into the canyon from there that's very, very strenuous and not maintained, but you can learn more of the history of this area and really enjoy the history while also enjoying a beautiful view. To get to Grandview Point, you'll actually need to drive along the Desert View Scenic Drive, which is this road that takes you away from the Grand Canyon Village area and out towards Desert View. And so there's a bunch of different viewpoints here, but Grandview is one of the first that you'll hit, and it's absolutely fantastic. Number 4, the Desert View Watchtower. So the Desert View Watchtower was built in the 1930s, not meant to be a replica of a Native American dwelling, but meant more to celebrate the Native American heritage of this area. And so what you have is when you walk into the Watchtower, you'll be in a room that symbolizes more of like a kiva, where they would have their sacred ceremonies. It was a typically round room. And so it's really beautiful just as you walk in and get to experience that. But then beyond that, you can take the stairs up to the top of the Watchtower. You'll have great views as you're going up. And this Watchtower actually is the highest point on the South Rim. And so you just get nice, expansive views from here. One of the reasons that I include the Desert View Watchtower on this list of things you can't miss is because to drive out to the Watchtower, you'll drive the entire Desert View Scenic Drive, which I just think is well worth the time. There's a lot of really beautiful viewpoints along this drive. You'll really enjoy the canyon views as you're driving, and so that's part of the experience as well. So to get to the Desert View Watchtower, and sorry, this map is not great. The maps on the National Park Service website for Grand Canyon are not awesome. I think sometimes they're a little bit too confusing, but to get to the Desert View Watchtower, you will drive this entire road. This is the Desert View Road all the way out here to the east entrance is right here. So you're almost out of the park at this point, but you'll find the Watchtower here at Desert View. This area also has a campground. It has a couple of little just like cafe type restaurants and gift shops, stuff like that. And then the Watchtower. The Desert View area is also where they do a lot of cultural demonstrations. And so, especially during the peak season, the summer months, you can go out here and you can learn from a local Native American artisan. They'll do like special demonstrations about like pottery, beadwork, things like that. And that's a really cool experience to add into your time at the Grand Canyon. Number 5, the Hermits Rest Road. So similar to the Desert View Scenic Drive, the Hermits Rest Road is mostly about the views that you'll get. And so I really love this road. I kind of just lumped everything into this one thing that you can't miss. But there's actually multiple viewpoints you can stop at. There's the rim trail that you can walk along. This is a really popular area for biking. They have a really nice paved trail along part of this road. And so the Hermits Rest Road really just encompasses a lot of the best things about the South Rim and lets you really see just how beautiful it is. The special thing about the Hermits Rest Road is that from the months of March through November, you actually have to take a mandatory shuttle to access this area. So you can't drive your own vehicle here during those months. This affects you just because it takes about 2 hours round trip to ride the shuttle without stopping and getting off. And so it is a good chunk of your time at the South Rim if you're wanting to come out here. So I would do some research on the individual viewpoints, the things that you'll actually want to see along this road. You don't have to stop at all of them. I don't recommend stopping at all of them in most cases. But if you'll pick a few of your favorite ones to see, then you can ride the shuttle, get off as needed, and then get back on and have a really nice experience in this area. So looking at the map here, what you'll want to do to get to the Hermits Rest area, again, this is during the months of March through November when the shuttle is mandatory. You'll park somewhere along the blue line, either at the visitor center or over here in Grand Canyon Village, and then you'll want to take that blue line to the Hermits Road transfer station. This is the one that you'll use also to get to the Bright Angel Trailhead, so it's right out here at the end of the Grand Canyon Village area. And then from there, you will walk just a few steps across the parking lot over to the Hermits Road line, this red line. And then from there, you'll take it and it runs like every 15 minutes and you can get off at all of these stops as needed. When you're looking at the shuttle information, then you will definitely want to pay attention to which stops you can get off and go back the opposite direction. Most of the stops you can only get off if you're heading to Hermit's Rest. Very few you can get on and off if you're wanting to go back to the Grand Canyon Village area. So keep that in mind as you're planning that out. If you need any help with this at all, check out the Grand Canyon itinerary on Dirt in My Shoes. I will walk you through the whole thing. You'll have a full plan. I outline all the stops that I would make along the Hermit's Rest Road. I make sure that you know how to use the shuttle, how to get out there, so that you can really see all of these beautiful views in the best way. Number 6, the Trail of Time. The Trail of Time is really cool because what you'll find at the South Rim is there's what's known as the Rim Trail. And this rim trail takes you, it covers miles of ground along the South Rim. It'll take you all the way from Hermit's Rest at the far west end of the South Rim over to Grandview Point at the far east end of where the shuttles run, and beyond. And so you can hike this rim trail really as far as you want to go. Most people don't. So what I like to do if I want to be on the rim trail and have a nice, flat, and easy Grand Canyon hiking experience is I like to go on the Trail of Time, which is a section of the rim trail that teaches you about the Grand Canyon. What's nice about the Trail of Time is it's flat, it's paved, you can take strollers on here, you can have dogs on here, and as you walk this section of the rim trail, they have special displays that will teach you about the different rocks that make up the Grand Canyon and the history of the Grand Canyon and the timeline of the Grand Canyon, how it was formed. All of this is covered as you hike along this 1.3 mile trail. So It's just really nice. It's a nice way to stay on top of the rim, have a nice easy hike, but also learn more about the beauty and just how amazing the Grand Canyon is. So looking at the park map, the Trail of Time runs between the Verkamps Visitor Center here and the Yavapai Geology Museum here. So this section of the Rim Trail is the Trail of Time with all of these exhibits. And what I typically like to do is just start at one side or the other. You can take the shuttle to get to either of these spots. Start at one side or the other, walk to the other one, and then take the shuttle to get back to your vehicle or to get to the rest of the activities for the day. So if you want to hike it there and back, it's 2.6 miles. You can cut that in half by utilizing the shuttle and just hiking it one way. Number 7, the South Kaibab Trail. This is my favorite thing to do on the South Rim. Hands down, this trail is phenomenal. So if you are a hiker and you're really wanting to feel like you visited the Grand Canyon and you saw the Grand Canyon, then you definitely need to spend some time on the South Kaibab Trail. So this trail is one of the main corridor trails that takes you from the rim down to the bottom of the canyon. It's actually the fastest way to get to the bottom of the canyon. So it is quite steep. You're just going down, 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 down really quickly. It utilizes some switchbacks, but not nearly as many as the Bright Angel Trail. And so the view just changes a lot more. You're seeing different things with every step you take. And so for this reason, I prefer the South Kaibab over the Bright Angel Trail, just because I feel like you get a different experience and you get to see more of the beauty of the Grand Canyon. The other thing that I really love about the South Kaibab Trail is that it's really easy to hike just a portion of it and have a really cool experience. And so even if you're not an experienced hiker and even if you don't plan on going very far or going down to the bottom, this trail can still be just a phenomenal experience for you and your group. So what I recommend is starting the South Kaibab Trail. If you're not very familiar with hiking or you don't have a lot of experience, even just starting the trail for a minute will blow your mind. The switchbacks at the very beginning are pretty dramatic, and so that's really fun. If you can go a little bit further, I recommend going out to Ua Point, which is a 1.8 mile round trip hike. It takes you down the South Kaibab Trail for a minute, and then you have a really nice view at Ua Point. So that's a great turnaround spot if you're just looking for a shorter trail. If you're a little bit more experienced as a hiker and you want to spend more time on the trail, but you don't want to go super far, then I highly recommend going to Cedar Ridge. If you hike to Cedar Ridge, it's a 3-mile round trip hike. It's about 1,100 feet of elevation change. And so you will be huffing and puffing as you're coming out of that canyon. But Cedar Ridge is a beautiful area of this trail where it just kind of juts out into the middle of the canyon. So you get 360-degree views that are absolutely phenomenal. So if you can hike that far and you really want to experience the South Kaibab Trail without going all the way to the bottom, Cedar Ridge is a great turnaround spot for that. To get to the South Kaibab Trailhead, what you'll want to do is you'll want to park at the visitor center and take the orange shuttle line out to the trailhead. There is a gate right here, and so you can't drive your own vehicle in here at all year round. You will have to take this shuttle. You can take the orange line, or if you're planning on hiking pretty far, you can take the Hiker's Express shuttle, and that will get you straight to the South Kaibab Trailhead. And then from there, you just hike as far as you want. I don't recommend going beyond Cedar Ridge if you're visiting during the summer because it just gets way too hot to hike down into the canyon and back out. By the time you're coming back out of the canyon, it will be too hot in the day to do that safely. And so Cedar Ridge is a great turnaround point, and that's what I recommend if you're visiting during the main summer season and you want to get a taste of the South Kaibab Trail. One last thing you don't want to miss on your visit to the Grand Canyon South Rim, number 8, Moran Point. So Moran Point is a beautiful viewpoint along the Desert View Scenic Drive. It's just one of those other viewpoints that I just want to mention by name that you won't want to miss. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see the river from here. The canyon looks different than it does at any other viewpoint. And so I highly recommend at least stopping here in Grandview Point and Desert View, a Watchtower, as you're driving this road. So add that one into your itinerary. You will not be sorry. You'll find Moran Point along the Desert View Drive. Right here, it's about the halfway point, but you'll just get a gorgeous view of the canyon from here. All right, my friend, let's jump to the North Rim and things that you won't want to miss on the North Rim. So even if you're not planning on going to the North Rim, stick with me because there might be something on this list that you will be excited to see, and you can either add it into your current trip plans if you can spare a day or two to get up there, or you can plan on coming back and visiting the North Rim and really digging in deeper to what you can do. The North Rim is higher than the South Rim by about 1,000 feet, and so the vegetation, the animals, everything looks a little bit different here. It's also closed during part of the year because there is a lot more snow on the North Rim. So if you're planning on visiting the North Rim, you'll want to plan your visit between May 15th and December 1st. That's when the road typically stays open so that you can get into the North Rim area of the park. So keep that in mind. The North Rim only sees about 10% of the visitation numbers that are coming from Grand Canyon National Park. So 90% of people are just going to the South Rim. You've only got a small portion of people jumping up to the North Rim. So it's a great place to go if you're looking for a little bit more peace and solitude. The first thing you don't want to miss on the North Rim is Bright Angel Point. This is a short trail. It's only about a half a mile round trip, and it takes you out to a really beautiful viewpoint of the North Rim area and the Grand Canyon from here. So I really love this one specifically at either sunrise or sunset. It's absolutely gorgeous, but you can do it any time of day and really enjoy it. To get to Bright Angel Point, so you'll park here by there's one kind of big parking lot for the visitor center and the lodge and everything kind of right here. So you'll park right here, and then you can either walk along the rim here, or you can walk down the road, down by the lodge, and come out here. And then from there, you'll catch this little trail out to Bright Angel Point. The second thing that you don't want to miss on your visit to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon is Angel's Window and Cape Royal. And if I could pick just one place to go, this would be it. This is my favorite spot along the North Rim of the park. So what's cool about the Cape Royal area is that you'll park in the parking lot, and then it's just a 0.6 mile trail round trip to get out to Cape Royal and back. And Cape Royal is my favorite viewpoint on this side of the park. It is absolutely phenomenal. You just see so many interesting formations as you're looking down into the Grand Canyon. And so I just love coming here. But what's also cool about it is that you can take a little side trail as you're hiking out to Cape Royal. And this side trail takes you to the Angel's Window, which is an arch that is along the cliffs of the Grand Canyon. And what you can do is you can actually walk on top of this arch and look down into the Grand Canyon while you're standing on top. And it is one of the most vertigo-inducing experiences that I've ever had in the Grand Canyon. Is standing on top of Angel's Window. So it's pretty cool. It's really fun. This trail just has two really cool things to see as you hike. The other thing that I really like about visiting Cape Royal is that you have to drive along the scenic drive to get here. And so you'll see a lot of really beautiful things as you're making your way out to this stop. So what you'll do is you'll come over here to this Cape Royal Road, and you'll come down here, you'll hit a Y intersection, and you'll go right to stay on the scenic drive. And you'll find Cape Royal all the way out here at the end of the scenic drive. And that's also, you'll park in the same spot and take the same trail to get out to Angel's Window. So it makes it really easy, but you get to drive along the rim for a long time. You get to just enjoy the scenery of the North Rim as you're making your way all the way out here. The third thing that you definitely don't want to miss is the North Kaibab Trail. So this is another trail that you can take to get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It's quite long. There's a lot of things you can see as you hike this trail. If you're not planning on going all the way to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, I still recommend at least starting this trail. My favorite place to hike to along this trail, if I don't plan on doing a really long hike that day, is the Coconino Overlook. It's really easy to get to, and it's a great introduction to the North Kaibab Trail. To get to the Coconino Overlook, you'll start the North Kaibab Trail and hike for just less than a mile to get down to this beautiful flat spot where you can sit and enjoy views of the Grand Canyon. The whole trail, if you decide to go to the Coconino Overlook and back, is only 1.8 miles round trip, but it does have an elevation change of about 800 feet. So it's by no means an easy trail, but it's an easy way to get a taste of what to expect along the North Kaibab Trail. To get to the Coconino Overlook or to get to the North Kaibab Trail at all you'll do is you'll come out and park right here. There's a parking area right here along this road. So it's just a few minutes from the campground and the lodge. You'll park here and then you'll hike down, and you can see Coconino Overlook marked on this map right here. There's also a sign when you get there so you know when to turn around. But if you're just wanting a nice intro to the North Kaibab Trail, that's as far as I would go. Okay, and the last thing that I would not miss on the north rim of the Grand Canyon is Point Imperial. And what's cool about Point Imperial is that it is the highest point on both the north and south rims. It's the highest point in the national park at 8,800 feet above sea level. So when you get out here, you just have a gorgeous view of the Grand Canyon. Again, what I love about the North Rim is there's all sorts of interesting formations coming out of the canyon as you're looking down there. And Point Imperial just has some really cool ones. So it's an absolutely beautiful overlook, and you'll definitely want to make time to stop here. To get to Point Imperial, you'll drive along the Cape Royal Road for a little while, and then when you get to this Y intersection, instead of going right to get out to Cape Royal, you'll go left and you'll take a short drive over to Point Imperial right here. There are so many absolutely phenomenal things you can do at Grand Canyon National Park, but these 12 things are my favorite things to do. They're things that we go back to over and over. They're things that I just really get a lot of joy from, and I'm excited to share them with you. I hope that you have a fantastic time at the Grand Canyon, and if you need any trip planning help at all, I have articles upon articles at the Dirt in My Shoes website that I'll link below this video so that you can get over there and you can plan your perfect Grand Canyon vacation. Happy trails!